And hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. Before we do get into today's video, as always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. So I hope you guys are all okay. We've got a fair few bits to discuss in today's video. Now, the first part of this video I wanted to get out last night, but I had work commitments, so I couldn't actually record at the time, which was quite frustrating because I did kind of miss the boat with the story a little bit, which is a bit annoying, but I'll cover that in just a second. But we've got an update with regards to another player that's not Paulo Bernardo. We'll discuss that in a moment as well. But the story I wanted to cover last night was the fact that Celtic have officially announced the signing of Paulo Bernardo from Benfica in a deal that's worth between 3.375 to 3.5 million pound. Depends where you're reading the story from. It kind of fluctuates between those two fees, but it's believed to be about 3.5 million pound for Paulo Bernardo. He joins Celtic on a permanent transfer. Very happy with this signing, and of course it's not a massive shock that we signed him. This deal was bloody ongoing for like 2 weeks now, so it's about time now that it's done and dusted, and it's finally over the line, which is good to see. Hopefully we can look to strengthen midfield positions again if needed. Of course, Paulo Bernardo is a good option alongside Matt O'Reilly, not for Matt O'Reilly. So if Matt O'Reilly does decide to leave at some point in this transfer window, we better dip our toes back in the market for another midfielder, because signing Paulo Bernardo is not Matt O'Reilly's replacement whatsoever. It's just a good player to play alongside Matt O'Reilly if needed. But yeah, very happy with the signing. £3.5 million. A player that has a lot of potential. I think he could be a great player for us for many, many years if we, nurture him properly, and he will develop into a nice, good player. And I'm looking forward to seeing what he can kind of achieve in a Celtic shirt this season. And of course, in the deal that was agreed between Celtic and Benfica, there is a 30% sell-on clause as well. So if we do make profit on him in the future, Benfica will get a decent fair amount of chunk of that money that we receive for him in any future sale. So that's quite an interesting little bit there for them as well, which obviously makes sense as well. They are selling him pretty cheap to us. But let's get into another completely different story here. I did want to talk about this yesterday as well, but it's kind of developed a lot more in the last few hours. So it's definitely worth mentioning. So yesterday, I wanted to talk about Hugo Bueno from Wolverhampton Wanderers, a left back, because Celtic were very keen to sign this boy from Wolverhampton Wanderers, either on loan or on a permanent deal. But it's now recently been announced that our interest in securing Hugo Bueno on loan has hit a roadblock for the second time this year, as Wolverhampton Wanderers are reportedly not keen on letting the young left back leave. So it's now back to the drawing board for Celtic. Of course, Celtic do need another left back in the summer transfer window. No questions asked, of course. Greg Taylor's our only first team left back, actually. We've got a couple of youngsters that can play there as well. But the lack of links to other targets is quite worrying in this department. I mentioned it before throughout the transfer window. We've been linked to a lot of different positions in different areas of the park. But a position that needed strengthening was left back. There was no actual links up until yesterday with Hugo Bueno. And now that's the only player that's been linked. So, given the urgency with the season approaching, Celtic's management will need to act swiftly and decisively to ensure that the squad is well prepared and competitive for this campaign. Of course, as I mentioned, having one senior left back is simply not good enough for a club at Celtic's stature. Of course, Alexander Bernabei left the club at the start of the year, giving the club plenty of time to find a replacement before the new season. So, lack of preparation again from Celtic's point of view to try and find a left back. Of course, Greg Taylor is pretty solid. He's shown that for Celtic over the past few years, but he can be improved upon, and especially in Europe as well. When we are trying to get better in Europe, we need a better left back for sure. So we have tried to upgrade him in the past, but he stepped up and retained his starting place, which is also good as well. Like, it's not just necessarily bring a left back in and he goes straight in for Greg Taylor. It's more so that kind of sense of urgency to kind of improve yourself, just in case you might lose your position in the team. So when you sign someone else, there's a bit of competitiveness that he hasn't got right now at left back. He feels like, oh, this position's mine. No one can really kind of shake me out of it because, well, I'm the only one here. So when you sign another left back, it's good for Greg Taylor as well to be like, actually, I need to step up my game even more now and get better and better. So I don't get dropped, so I play more games still. So yeah, Hugo Bueno's transfer, Wolverhampton Wanderers are not very keen to sell him. So it's a little bit frustrating. I mean, it would have been a loan deal, and there was a few articles saying it could be a permanent transfer, but it seemed more like it was a loan deal. A little bit frustrating that he won't come to Celtic as things stand right now. Not too sure why Wolves wouldn't be open to a loan move anyway. I mean, is he their starting left back? I don't think so. So why don't they just loan him to Celtic? It's a great club to go to and learn your trade, really, because we're playing in Champions League football. We're playing in a great league as well, where he will win 90% of the games as well, and get to experience that what winning's like as well. And he'll experience more tougher matches in Europe as well. So he's going to get the best of both worlds playing for Celtic, and I think he could do a really good job for us. So it's kind of bizarre they don't really want to, loan him to Celtic. I'm not too sure what the issue is. Is it maybe they see him getting more of a first team spot this season for them? I don't know. It's Gary O'Neill's a manager, so I'm not too sure what his thought process is with Hugo Bueno. But he won't be coming to Celtic as things stand right now unless they drastically change their stance on the situation. Unless they want to sell him permanently, then we have to go in for a permanent bid for him. So, yeah. But in terms of other left-back options being linked, there's not any whatsoever. So this is why it's a little bit frustrating, because this is kind of the plan A, plan B, and plan C for the left-back. And it seems like it's gone down the pan. So we'll see who else kind of emerges in the next few days. Of course, we've still got a few more weeks left of the transfer window. It's not even really that's the issue. It's more so pre-season preparations. You want the players to come in early to get involved with the squad. And I'll getting to the point now. We've got another pre-season game tomorrow against Chelsea. And, we want players to come in now really to get that full experience of training with their new team. But in terms of other transfers being linked, of course, Balakowisha's gone pretty quiet in the last few days. Adam Ida, again, still the same situation. I kind of update you guys a little bit towards the end of the video. Adam Ida still very much at Norwich City, no movement there. Of course, Paulo Bernardo signed as a Celtic player now, very exciting. But yeah, definitely some positions that need to be approved upon. I mean, you spoke about left back being pretty quiet as well, but so centre back, I've not seen many links to centre backs either. We've been linked earlier on in the transfer window with Darrow O'Shea and stuff like that, but recently not a lot whatsoever. So something needs to change there as well, because that's definitely a position that needs to be improved upon as well. But as always, I want to know your thoughts on what we discussed in today's video. I might do another video tonight if there's any more updates on this transfer situation. We'll see how it develops, of course, if there's any more stories coming out about Hugo Bueno or any more players that are coming to Celtic. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section of what we discussed in today's video. Are you happy with the signing of Paulo Bernardo for £3.5 million? I think that's a relatively good transfer fee for him, to be completely honest. And what would you make of the Hugo Bueno situation now that's hit a stumbling block and he won't come to Celtic on loan as things stand? Let me know down below in the comment section. That does bring us to the end of today's video, guys. As always, make sure you do drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel for more Celtic content. Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.